Today I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on the all-new GoPro Mission 1 and why I think it might just disappoint mountain bike riders. So starting out, it says that it has the image quality of modern professional cameras, so that is pretty neat. It has durability of any action camera and is capable for professionals with the long-awaited 1-inch sensor, which I know a lot of us were waiting for. It's got 8K open gate, which means that you can film the entire sensor, so whatever the sensor is picking up, so that way you can go vertical or horizontal with the same clip. The GP3 sensor, which most of us were looking forward to in the Hero 14, and then superior low light performance. We were definitely looking forward to that in the GoPro 14, or at least I know I was, and a lot of people out there. The 960 frames per second slow-mo is not really applicable to mountain bikers. We do not need anything really more than 120 frames per second. So starting off, you have the Mission 1, which is kind of the base model, and then you have the Mission 1 Pro and the Mission 1 IRLS. I do not see a need for the IRLS at all as far as POV and whatnot, and I'm not entirely sure that this camera is a POV camera. The new Enduro 2 battery is a pretty neat thing, and since it is cross-compatible with the Hero Enduro battery that I have right here, that is nice, so that way if I ever want to upgrade to the Enduro Battery 2 and get more runtime out of the GoPro, I do believe that is cross-compatible, as well as if you already have a whole bunch of the Enduro 1 batteries right now, you can just put that into the Mission 1 series right now, and then you just have a little bit lower runtime, which is not bad if you already have all of the extra Enduro 1 batteries. It is nice that GoPro did not change anything with the battery shape, just that it can fit more milliamp hours into it, unlike what they did to the Hero 9, 10, and 11, I believe, and then they changed it on the 12. It says that it has a huge leap in thermal performances. I have never had a GoPro overheat on me. I think the 13 does a pretty good job. The batteries can definitely get a little hot, and it can get a little hot at some points, but filming in the desert at like 80-something degrees, it did not overheat at all, even though it was running for at least a couple hours on end while riding. I was riding, so wind was blowing through and cooling the camera off probably, so it was not just sitting directly in the sun. The fast charging battery is a plus, because I know DJI and Insta360 have fast charging batteries where it takes like 20 minutes to get up to 80%, and then it finishes the rest off a little bit slower than that, and that is a huge plus, because I have heard people jokingly say that it takes about 5 business days to charge a GoPro battery, and that is true. It does take a little bit longer, more like 2 to 3 hours. So that is why I definitely recommend getting a dual battery charger, just so that way you can speed up the process. Performs down to -4 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't know why you would be riding your bike at -4 degrees Fahrenheit or 20 Celsius. I would personally rather be inside than riding a bike, and it's probably all snowy and icy outside, so I don't see why you would possibly need that. You can get up to 5 hours of continuously recording at 1080p and 30 frames per second, with 2+ hours at 4K 60 and 3+ hours at 4K 30. It says that the new Enduro fast charging battery can go from 0 to 80% in 27 minutes, and then 0 to 100% in approximately 60 minutes. So that is definitely a lot faster than the typical GoPro chargers right now. It says it can go where other cinema cameras cannot go, so it can get covered in mud, showered in dirt, and go underwater to up to 66 feet or 20 meters. So that is pretty neat. Not that you will be taking a camera underwater for 66 feet if you are mountain biking, but if you do have it and then you want to go snorkeling or diving, it is a good thing that they are waterproof. This camera also still has the auto boost and then horizon locks. That way you can rotate the camera 360 degrees without the horizon changing, so that way the camera looks like it's staying in one spot, but really it's rotating 360 degrees. It now has 4 microphones instead of 3. I'm not entirely sure where the other microphone is placed. it finally now supports wireless microphones. So I believe if you had like a DJI Mic 2 or Mic Mini, you would be able to connect it to the GoPro now, which previously you're not really able to unless you had like a media mod or something like that. It has a 159 degrees native of field of view. Whatever the GoPro 13 has with the ultra wide edition lens mod, I'll put right here, and then whatever it has without the GoPro lens mod, I'll put right here, so that way you can see the difference. It now has true 2x pixel zoom, which I personally don't see a need ever really needing as a mountain biker, because it will either be on your chest or your helmet, and then if you're getting a riding clip, you'll be pretty close to the feature that you are riding on. The IRLS is not needed for mountain biking. It is compatible with GoPro Labs, which I don't really use personally because I don't need to. But if you wanted to geek out on the GoPro Labs side of thing, you can do that. It has the front and back just like the 13 GoPro. It has raised buttons, which can definitely be a plus if you had full finger gloves on. It can be a little hard to feel the buttons sometimes, so that way the buttons are nice and raised and you can easily find them. It now has subject tracking in the camera, which the GoPro 13 does not, or at least to my knowledge. So that can be kind of neat if you want to do some subject tracking stuff with AI. So for the tech specs, we're just going to be focusing on the Mission 1 and the Mission 1 Pro, because the Mission 1 IRLS is not needed for mountain biking, especially because it does not have autofocus on it. It is all manual focus with interchangeable lenses. So for the Mission 1, it can go up to 8K at 30 frames per second, 4K to 120 frames per second. I don't record anything over 4K 30 unless I am doing like slow-mo, and even then I would probably only go up to, the highest is 120 frames per second. The difference between the Mission 1 and the Mission 1 Pro is basically the frame rates for all that I can see. At 8K 16:9, it can do an extra 30 frames per second, so it can be 60 frames per second in 8K, and then more frames in the slow-mo. They look a little bit bigger than the standard GoPro because it has the 1-inch sensor, so that way the lens needs to be bigger in order to accommodate the sensor. They weigh a little bit heavier too, but it's not like the weight is going to be a terrible thing, especially if you have it chest mounted. If you had it on your helmet, you'd probably definitely notice the weight a little bit more, but you could probably easily get used to it. So as far as the mountain biking side of things goes, GoPro released their release video of the Mission 1 yesterday at the time of this recording, and in the comment section someone said, "Pretty powerful, looks like it's aimed at recording others and not POV cameras in this particular model, impressive quality." And GoPro responded, "You nailed it. The Mission 1 series is built for more intentional cinematic capture." So it kind of seems like this is not meant to be a POV camera and is not the GoPro 14 that we were all looking forward to. It looks more like a robust cinema camera that is in a pretty small form factor. So if you wanted to take it out riding to record like your buddies riding down a drop or something, that is what you could use it for, but it's not appear like it is for mountain biking. But then as I was researching this video, I came across GoPro has a Mission 1 Pro mountain biking bundle. So this is pretty confusing because on the launch video they said it is not for mountain biking, and then they're trying to sell it as a mountain biking bundle that comes with a chest mount and then the handlebar and seat post mount, which that mount is completely useless most of the time. The bumps are going to be too big really for the stabilization, and then it comes with a case. They show in the photos as a POV camera, so I'm very confused with what GoPro is doing. Is it a action camera or is it a cinema camera? I was hoping for the GoPro 14 to be released, and it might be released later down the line, or GoPro completely capped off the Hero Edition, and now they are focusing more in the cinema side of the industry. Another interesting thing that I don't understand with GoPro is that they are asking you to pre-order to get the free grip with the Mission 1 and the Mission 1 Pro, but they don't entirely tell you what it's for. They say cinema camera, and then they also say that it is a mountain biking POV camera, and then some places they say it's not a mountain biking POV camera. I personally do not have the GoPro Mission 1 in my hands to test it as a mountain biking camera. It has all the mounts for a POV camera, but that's also the standard GoPro mount. And GoPro, if you're listening and you want to send me a camera, go ahead, and I would be happy to test it out and see if that changes any of my thoughts and opinions on this topic. In the GoPro launch video, they had mountain biking, but it was not POV. It was just on fancy camera rigs, and they were filming riders going down on mountain biking trails. At this price range, it is not really a camera to just try and test out. Starting off at like $600 for just the base model, and then $700 for the Pro model. So with the open gate feature, it doesn't seem like you need a ultra wide lens like I have on my GoPro 13. I'm still not entirely sure about this whole GoPro Mission 1 cinema camera and moving into the cinema camera space. I think they probably should have just moved it into an action camera, but I am not the engineers at GoPro. A few of my questions still remain unanswered, like the big lens on the Mission 1. If that gets scratched, is it replaceable? So with the Mission 1 being so expensive, starting at $600, you can get a pretty nice and upgraded GoPro 13 with the ultra-wide lens mod, and then a nice chesty with magnetic latches, and the furry things on here to keep the wind out of the mic for at least $150 cheaper, depending on if you get it on a Black Friday sales. And I built up this entire GoPro from scratch. So I got the ultra wide lens mod, the magnetic mount, and kind of built my own little bundle. And it was quite a bit cheaper than what the starting price of the Mission 1 is, and it doesn't even include a chesty or things like that. So all in all, I am still a little bit confused of what GoPro is doing, and I don't think this is the camera for mountain bikers. I think you should stick with the Hero 13, and maybe if the Hero 14 comes out, or if more things get released about the mountain biking side of the Mission 1, I would be more interested to test that out and see what it looks like. When the GoPro Mission 1 gets released, I will make an updated video on that if any of these things change, or if it is found to be good for mountain biking. And then if I also get my hands on one, I will also make a impressions video about that and see how well it performed against the GoPro Hero 13. And that is my thoughts on the all-new GoPro Mission 1. Let me know what you thought in the comment section down below. If you agree and if you disagree, and if you have more inside information, I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. If you liked the video, go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe while you're down there. Go ahead and check out this video right here. I'll see you over there. Go find your epic.